If you are enjoying this podcast and other podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon Shop. Awesome t-shirts and mugs from your favorite shows so you can tout your podcast pride, all while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. And make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com and get your dragon swag on.
Krista! Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Really? Because you seem a little...
I said I'm fine.
Okay, well, we all love you, so if you need to talk, we're...
She's fine. She's fine.
Hey, y'all. So I had my very good friend Harland Williams on today. And man, I got to tell you, I adore this man. I adore him for his brilliance just in comedy. He's an artist through and through. But he's so deep and inspiring and hilarious all at the same time, which is not a bad combination. And ladies, he's single. I don't know how that's possible, but it's true. He's from Canada. He is wonderful. He is an actor. He's a comedian. He's an author. He's an artist. He's a musician. He has a podcast. He's a dear, awesome, wonderful friend. And we talk about so many things. The book that we're doing is called Go For It, a book that I had never heard of, and I didn't hear from it because it's been out of circulation for a while. But it's by Dr. Irene Kassorla, and I think I might have just butchered that name, but it's not in circulation anymore, but it's a book that he read that stuck with him, and we start talking about that. But basically it's about going for it. Don't take no for an answer. And I got to tell you, he is just so awesome. And it was such a great podcast. We talk about the book, and then that segues into poop. Yes, poop and farts. And then we get really deep, like way past the colon deep. You know what I'm saying? One of the things, Harlan is a master at crowd work. Just seriously, he's the best of the best. He can take a crowd and make them laugh at themselves better than anyone. I've been fortunate enough to see him quite a few times, and every time I am in awe of this man. He's so good. And as a newbie stand-up comic myself, he gave me some of the best advice. Basically, run into the truth. And I'll leave it at that. And I think that's advice you can take on the stage and also in life. I can't wait for you guys to listen to this. It was awesome. So without further ado, my friend, Harland Williams.
Hi.
I'm so happy. Hi, Harlan.
Hi.
Harlan, you were so sweet to do this.
Of course.
I last minute asked you, I was like, so
Yeah.
do you have like a book or a quote or something that like inspires you? And immediately you got back to me.
Yeah.
And it was this book that I looked up. It's called Go For It by Dr. Irene Kassorla.
Kassorla.
I said it wrong.
Irene Kassorla, I think. Now, this book I found years ago.
1984. I looked it up.
That's right. That's about right. Yeah.
And so I looked for this book to find out what it was all about, because I was like, okay, well, I'm going to read it, at least go through like the Cliff Notes version of it.
Sure.
And it's no longer available. It's not
That
circulating
sounds about
anymore.
right. I guess Go For It went for it, and it's gone.
It went for it. Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah. And this lady was like an actress at some point. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, she was an actress. She was a soap opera actress at some point.
Okay.
And then she decided to write these books, and then she became like a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever. I haven't done
a flaky Hollywood nutbag with a title.
Okay, we can go with that one too.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but who knows?
But I've met people like that in town who are like, what, you meet them one year, they're a complete nut. And then the next year they tell you they're a psychiatrist or a life coach, or I'm like,
doesn't that make sense? So, because everybody, they're like,
I know.
That's what they say. People that can't do teach. So if you can't be sane, you're going to teach sanity, right? But it's true. I know that like even with my podcast, I'm fine. It has quotes around it like, yeah, I'm fine. Seriously,
Fine.
everything's cool.
I'll be the judge.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone is. Everyone. But it's funny because like I do this show, but I definitely am not saying that I know what I'm doing. It's this journey of trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And my listeners and the people that listen to this, I think everybody is on this same path of just trying to be a better person, trying to be happier, trying to get rid of the shit that, you believed when you were little or whatever. And this stuff that kind of turns you into this adult and you're going through life and then confused, knowing it doesn't feel right and going, what can I do to make it better? And that's what the I'm fine is, I guess.
Good.
Right.
So this podcast is in a way a little bit therapeutic for you too, right?
It is.
It's self-analytical in a way.
It is my therapy. Between this and stand up, I leaps and bounds.
Good.
So for those of you out there that are listening, Harlan and I had a talk. We were talking about some other stuff, just like random things that were going on. And before we started the podcast, and it's funny because I was like, I forgot what I was going to say.
Good. I like that. Let's
No,
sit in the
forgot-
silence for a moment.
I forgot what I was going to say. It was so profound and good, but obviously I didn't go for it. See what
you
I
didn't
did
go
there?
for it, but it's good because sometimes the most profound things are best kept under the hood.
But then how do you know that they're profound?
Because it was so good, your circuits overheated and you wouldn't let it out. It's, you know what I'm saying? So
Have you ever done that with a fart? It was so good. Your circuits overheated and you couldn't let it out.
I think I did that at Mary Callender's once. Yeah, just once. I was 14, and that's all I can say about that.
I do that sometimes. I just hold them all in, and then they just come out as
don't
drama.
fart.
No, I do. Actually, I'm kind of proud of it. I'll tell you something. No, not farting. Like nobody wants it to smell. Like the sound of a fart is really funny, right?
How's it go?
Or it could go poop. You could do that too.
I think that's a baby zebra asking for milk is what that. I want more milk, mommy.
Give me more milk. But I've been doing this thing. By the way, so Harlan, we were talking about.
We went from your profound thought to you farting.
I know,
and
because
like in a sentence.
I know I have ADD.
Great. Where'd you
Squirrel.
get it?
At the ADD store.
Oh, AD&D.
Yeah, AD&D.
Yeah.
But I was going to talk about. Can I talk about farting and pooping for a second?
Yeah, go for it. I was hoping. Do you want to drop off a kid on the floor here?
No, but I'll say this. I went to Burning Man.
Yes.
And Harlan and I have been going, we need to go to Burning Man. Since last year. Because Harlan, you went last year and you were like, it was a magical experience.
Yeah, I went the last 3 years.
Oh, that's 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was a magical experience.
Great
Me
time.
too. It was amazing.
Yeah.
However, I hated the porta potties. I hated the fact, but you had an RV, right?
I take an RV to avoid that. I rent an RV, so I have a shower, my own bathroom, my kitchen.
And you have enough propane and all your stuff
everything.
is together.
I rent it at the place, fully loaded. It's like the size of a van. It's easy to drive. It drives at regular speed.
I need to do that next year.
You drive out. Yeah.
I need to do that next year because not that anybody wants to picture me pooping or farting, but I don't care.
Probably a few.
I don't know. Maybe there's some good.
Probably a
there's
few.
some
Probably
fetishes.
guys in jail. Maybe. And some Germans. I think they like that stuff.
But I will tell you this. Forever now, I will never not be able to poop somewhere. I used to, like, if I had to go and there was a gas station, we're on a road trip, I'd be like, no, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I will go now because I had to use the porta potties at the Burning Man thing and it was awful. And you'd walk in. Did you ever walk into one of those porta potties?
No, because, I did to pee.
Right, but you
I had my
saw-
own trailer. Yeah, it's like walking into like a sloppy
shitstorm.
Joe. Like if porta potties were
Oh my God.
were a
that's the
meat,
best.
they'd be sloppy Joes. Okay, but here's the
my
kicker.
God.
Here's the kicker. The guy that we've all gone up with over the years, our buddy, he has a big like trailer. and he has a bathroom in it. And his motto is don't ever use the bathroom in your trailer because you don't want to use up the water. And so he goes to the porta potties instead of using the thing in his trailer. And I'm like, no, dude, use your trailer. That's why you have a trailer.
Why it's there. Right.
It's private, it's clean, it's sanitary.
And just bring more water.
Yeah.
Right.
But this guy, he goes, I didn't do one thing in my toilet this year. And I'm like, dude, why? Why do you have it?
It's the worst. And that was the worst part of it. And so I was just going to say, because it was so bad, I had a movement.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Whatever. I had a moment, and I was like, I will never not be able to not go anywhere ever
you could go
again.
Anywhere. Because you probably sat down on urine-covered seats.
I would never sit down. I would hover.
Oh, good. Okay,
I hovered. Yeah. Are you kidding? I was like, I would have to hover. And if it was something like, oh God, I really have to go to the bathroom, it was awful. I would panic. And sometimes, I can't believe we've been talking about this. Sometimes I would go in and I'd try to go and I couldn't, but the smell was so bad inside before I even went, it would make me not be able to go. And then I'd go outside and wait. And
God.
It was awful.
Horrible.
Nobody needs to hear this. I hope nobody's eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Yeah. We're going to stop talking about poop and we're just going to start talking about go for it. I am done now. I just realized I was really...
That sounds like something you do in an outhouse. Go for it.
Yeah, you do go for it. It's terrible. So, all right. So I'm just going to segue completely into this book because I've just literally grossed everyone out. Yeah. But I was looking at this thing, the book, Go For It. And what, do you remember everything about this book?
Because I remember a lot about it. Yeah.
Tell me your favorite part about it. I'm going to go to the customer reviews right now.
Well, what happened is I was dating my college sweetheart. And we moved in together after college. It was my first time moving in with a girl. And her mother, who was a bit of a, little bit of a, I don't know what the word is, like a busybody maybe.
Nosy?
Not super nosy, but a little kind of like, oh, well, what are you doing? And don't go out with a clown and stuff like that.
Like controlling.
Yeah, she was kind of a little bit of that. And so she had this book called Go For It. And she left it with her daughter and we moved in together. And the daughter never looked at it, but I picked it up one day and I said, I'm not reading a self-help book. I'm 23. I'm just out of college. I'm just starting. I go, what is this stupid book? And I read the first 3 pages and I felt my blood starting to go. And I was like, oh.
Because it was speaking to you.
It was motivational. I'd never read a book that was about, the book was all about go for it in life. Go for everything. Don't take no for an answer. Just go, go, go. You only live once. Go, go, go. And so it just sucked me in. And I just read that thing I couldn't put it down. And I was really surprised on many levels because I was a guy, and guys don't read self-help books, especially when they're just out of college, right?
Yeah.
But looking back, I realized that book really spoke to me and it helped me. I was already amped up to go out and take on the world, but this just reaffirmed. It was almost maybe a godsend that weird book landed on my lap because it really It gave me clarity to a lot of thoughts I already had, and it also illuminated me to things that maybe I hadn't thought of.
Yeah, because and basically, when you started reading it, you started believing in yourself. You're like, I can do that.
I already believed in myself, but it was the mindset of Canadians are a little more passive. I'm Canadian, and we're a little more hands off and not so aggressive and polite.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways, And this book was no, just go for it. If they say no, ask again. If you really want something, just go up and ask. All they can say is no. And one of my favorite passages from the book, and I can't remember if she was quoting someone or it was hers, but and I've repeated this to other people. She said, and it was so simple. She said, imagine your life is you're on a boat and the boat's out in the ocean and the only one who can steer the boat is you. You're the captain of the boat. And you can turn the wheel towards the island, or you can turn your wheel away from the storm, or you can turn the wheel and go into the sun, but no one else can steer your boat but you. No one. It's your boat. Your life is your boat. And that was so clear to me, you know,
Yeah.
and I just, it was so simple. And I went, yeah, man, it's like, I'm only here once, and I'm going to steer my boat to some great places.
That's
you know?
really great. And that's the opposite kind of what I went through my whole life. I was always having other people take the wheel. Do you know what I mean? Like
wow,
I'd be like, I'm not sure which direction I want to go. Like maybe, do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
that's-
I didn't have that self-confidence. And I didn't.
You had it, but you hadn't learned how to grab the wheel yet.
I think,
I think everyone has it, but they don't.
You're right.
They don't know when or how to grab it sometimes.
Yeah. And I think, but maybe if I would have read that book at some point, I would have
You probably would have. It was a powerful
Yeah.
book. Like I brushed it off as a goofy nut job. Like I thought self-help
New
books for
age.
people
Yeah.
who were like, you know, crying in the corner, stabbing a knife in the ground, and had heroin addictions. I didn't
Right.
realize, you know, self-help books could just be for regular everyday people. And so I kind of, in a way, I learned to swallow my pride a little bit too, because I thought reading a self-help book made me weaker because it had the word help in it, and
Right.
it implied that I needed help. But I didn't search the book out. It kind of found me. And in
Right.
a way, it like I said, it really like was good timing, and it stuck with me. And I was already on a course. Like I already knew I was coming to kick ass and you know, all that stuff. I had a lot of dreams, but I think this made this just gave me some clarity and some strength and some you know, push and some thoughts that I maybe hadn't considered before. So it was cool. It was I kind of give thanks that book landed in my lap.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think
Yeah.
things like that just kind of happen. They happen because they're supposed to, but it was like that thing that like kind of lifted you up. Do you know what else? The quote that she says on here about the boat and the steering. She says, you know, to go to the right direction, but just make sure you have a porta potty. Make sure you have a proper toilet on the boat.
Yes.
That was the last
I
part of that
forgot
quote.
that part. That's right.
Yeah. She said that's very important.
Yeah, no, that is very key.
Yeah.
Go for it
Yeah,
in the right
that's-
toilet.
She
Yeah.
said that. I can't believe you left that out.
I forgot that part, but my boat does have a bathroom in it. So yeah, no, it's.
I think it's funny because since 1984, there's been countless. I mean, so 1984, that was kind of the beginning of this whole new age cycle, all of it.
Yeah, I think you're right, because that was another reason. Sorry to interrupt, but self-help books were kind of a new thing. That was another reason
Yes.
why I was a little affronted by it, because I was like, I don't need a
Well, people
self-help
made fun
book.
of it too.
Yeah, and you know, it implied that you were weak and you needed help. And so there wasn't a proliferation of self-help books at that point. But then after that, I noticed that there's just trillions of them now.
So many. And
Yeah.
some of the greatest books. I wonder when like there's like I'm okay, you're okay, and all these like older
Men are
books.
from Mars, women are from Anus,
That was
all
like
that stuff or whatever it is.
Yeah, I feel like that
Venus?
one was like 90s. Yeah, Venus. Men are
Yeah.
from Mars, women
What did I
from
say?
Venus. Did you say penis?
I think I said anus, but penis. Women are from penis. I guess.
Women are.
I guess
from
biologically
penis.
they are from penis. We're
Yes.
all from penis, right? Because we're
Yeah.
all ejaculate.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? We're all creamy little blobs at one point.
We were.
We're very
little
creamy.
bobs. Yeah.
We're little creamsicles.
So, do you think it would be rude or insulting if you saw somebody on the street and you're like, "Hey, ejaculate, what's up?"
No,
Or,
you'd be.
"Hey, creamy ejaculate."
That's in this age of being politically correct. You can't be faulted for that, because if someone tried to say anything, you are identifying them for exactly what they are.
Yes, and
You can't dispute it, and no one could sue you for slander, because we all at one point were little cream. This is really weird. Creamy ejaculate.
We're all creamy ejaculates.
Sounds like a
Do you know that
treat
that's
at the
going to
movie
be the
theater.
name of this episode? So,
Great. So we're striking the porta potty title. Okay.
yeah, it was going to be maybe something about
Pooping in the desert.
Maybe.
Now it's a creamy,
like-
and I'm sure it's going to change in about 5 more minutes.
maybe give
too.
a shit. No,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit, or I give a shit.
You tried to give a shit, but it was
I
too
gave lots of
dirty. Yeah.
shits. Have you read any other books like ever again, self-help books?
I tried like just for the fun of it. Like I think I tried to read. I saw one once in a store that was kind of the anger angle. I think it was like called "You're Stupid, Shut Up, and Don't Be an idiot," or something. Like it was some guy who was a doctor. On the back
Right.
they always it's a doctor, but yet he's wearing like a biker jacket and he's got a tattoo.
He's a badass, and he's going to tell you like it is.
He's an edgy doctor.
Yeah.
So his thing was, after 5 pages, like, just grill people like, that's stupid, you're an idiot, and I just went, no, this isn't this is just like angry energy.
Wow.
So I
yeah.
and the title's what caught me. I thought, oh, good, someone who's finally telling it like it is. But then I realized he was kind of a nerd with anger issues, and I just put the book down.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a self-help book. That sounds like something that maybe Andrew Dice Clay wrote.
It sounds like something that you'd use to use on people so that then they would need a self-help book because you verbally abused them or something.
Well, yeah, but that's a whole other thing too. Like you come from a pretty solid family, right?
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
And
that's
true.
like
when and Canada, good families from Canada is like
well, there's good and bad everywhere, but yeah, I was fortunate, I had a good family.
Yeah, and that's really important. That does a lot, and that gives you that confidence, and that gives you all of that stuff. But through everything, I guess. Like, do you feel like there's? And I'm just curious because I know I have a shit ton of stuff I have to work on, and I'm working on it all the time.
Yeah.
But do you feel like there's like one thing in your life, if you could change anything about you, like if you could change just one thing where you're like, God, I need to fucking work on this, what would it be?
That's a great question. Man, it would maybe be...
Because you're really confident and you know what I mean? Like you have a lot of confidence and you have a lot of those things, but like...
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm trying to think because I'm not trying to sit here and pretend that there's not anything, but I don't know. It might be... I don't know. Can I think about it for a bit?
No. And the reason I was just staying quiet because I didn't want to like screw up your thought process.
No.
But like for me, like the things that I am working on currently, not that I even think I need to work on, but the things that I am working on are like the internal thoughts, like the things like beating myself up, or if I, you know what I mean? Like if I do something, or if I get angry at something or at somebody, even if I'm driving down the road and I get mad at a car for cutting me off, I'll actually feel like a shitty person because I'm like, I don't know what's been happening with that person. I don't know what their day is, but it'll carry. So like that's a stupid example, but it could be anything. It could be just those things, those reactivity, just reactive moments that I may have internally that make me go to a paranoid place of maybe thinking that people don't like me, or that, something like that. Like that's like one of my biggest things. I'm so sensitive with that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to do with just how I was brought up and all that stuff. So I'm always working on going, wait, actually, this is how I feel. Like it's okay. Like maybe this person was an asshole, or maybe this person wasn't very nice. And here I am feeling bad because I'm upset about it. And so it's trying not to be such a doormat and being so worried about saying how I feel about things, as opposed to just going, yeah, this is how I feel about it, and being able to communicate it in a way that doesn't, make anybody defensive or whatever. And if it does, who fucking cares? That's how you feel. And if I can get to that place, I think my life would be amazing. Because it's one of my biggest things. Like if somebody can't have an honest communication with me, like, oh, you know what? I do feel that way sometimes. I'm like, oh, thanks. Yeah. Like if somebody comes at a different place with me, I automatically, I'll be like, oh my God, maybe I'm just being too sensitive. Maybe I'm doing this. And then I'll turn it around on myself.
Oh,
I'm sure there's a
Don't
word
do
for that.
that.
I do. But you don't do that. You don't do that.
I don't. I mean, I just kind of function and live, and I go, if people have a disagreement with me, or people, whatever, and they want to address it with me, I'll talk to them about it. And if they don't, and it just goes by, then I'll never know about it anyhow.
Right. See, that's a
But I
really
don't-
healthy way
Yeah, I
to
don't
look
get
at
caught
things.
up in what
I
everyone
ruminate.
else is thinking or perceiving. And I just wake up and go, as long as I'm being a good person and I'm not intentionally
Yeah.
trying to be mean to someone. But
Yeah,
if I inadvertently in a
course.
conversation say or do something that may be offensive, I go, oh, well, I'm human. I have opinions. I'm entitled to speak my mind. And
Right.
if you don't agree with it and it's sending you into a tizzy, you can tell me and we can talk about
Right.
it. Or you can go off and be mad at me, but I don't care because I never did anything maliciously to you.
Right. Well, you're never malicious. And that's the thing. Even with your stand up, and I've seen you
That's true.
quite a few times, you're never
Oh, thanks.
malicious.
No, I don't like to. I like people to
But-
enjoy themselves.
But you walk that fence. You
Yeah,
walk that
that's
fence.
true.
It's
That's
like,
true.
and sometimes you teeter to one side, but
Yeah.
then you get right back on the fence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, whoa. And that's where all the laughs come from. Cause it's like, no, wah, but it's so true. But you know what I love about just going into stand up right now? What I love about what you do is you're so fucking good with crowds.
Oh, thanks.
You're the
Thank
best
you.
of the best of the
Oh,
best.
jeez.
No, you are.
Oh,
There's
thank
nobody
you.
I've ever seen that does crowd work better than you.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
so
well, that's a
inspiring.
Nice compliment. Thank you.
You can take, it's seriously though, you can take anybody and it's a gift. I don't know. I have the hardest time. I try to do crowd work. I'm very new to stand up.
Yeah. It
So
takes time.
and I'll try to do it and I'll be like, have a nice night. Anyway, and I'll go back into
You
my set.
bail out,
I
yeah.
bail out so fast. And I always think about you and I go, how the fuck does Harland do this? It's so good.
Oh, yeah,
Did it just
sweet.
take a
Thank
long
you.
time to get there, or did it comes natural because you're
Yeah, it took. It's something I always wanted. When I started stand up, I was like, I want to write jokes. I want to have a routine, which I do, and I update, and I've got a million hours of jokes. But I always thought to myself, what's the purest form of comedy? And to me, it was I always thought if I could walk into a room with a preconceived and pre-written act and say it because it's already rehearsed in my brain and make people laugh, that's a good thing. I'm
Right.
happy with that. But then I thought, if I could go into a room of 300 or 600 or 800 people with nothing in my head and walk on stage cold and empty and make that whole room laugh for 45 minutes or an hour in the moment raw, to me that was the ultimate high.
That's genius.
That
Yeah.
was the ultimate
Yeah.
high for me. And so I always knew, even though I strive to have a really solid act and great writing as far as I could write, I always have my eye on just walking out and just letting it happen in the moment.
You do.
And I've learned a lot of tricks by doing that. Like I've learned a lot of ways to work that. And I learned, the thing I love about it being raw and in the moment is I learn new tricks every time I go on stage.
Yeah.
As opposed to when I just go out and do an act, I usually know where the act's going to go.
Right.
I know it's going to land somewhere between 7 and 10, but there's no, unless I'm having a really bad night and I bomb. But what I love about not knowing is I don't know. I could have a -10 or a +40. And that's, to me, that just really charges my engine.
Yeah. And that comes from, which is funny, as you were talking, I was thinking about it. Like I was telling you, I'm worried about offending people. And so maybe
Yeah.
that's why it's so hard for me to do crowd work, because I don't want to say the wrong thing because I want people to like me. And I think you're coming from a much healthier place, which is, you know what, I'm going to say something, here it is, and and you're very authentic with yourself. And maybe that's my thing, is I need to, or what my goal would be is to let go of that need to be liked, or just making sure that fear of saying the wrong thing to somebody or offending somebody, and try to let that go a little bit more, because you thrive on that. Like you're so good at it. So.
Well, if there's any tip I could give you is don't censor yourself. Don't. What I've learned, here's one of my tricks that I've learned, and I love it, is when you do say something and you feel like you just stepped on a landmine or you feel like you've hurt someone, don't recede, don't swim away, sway backwards like a squid. Talk about it.
Right.
Go, did I just offend you, ma'am? I just called you a chocolate bar or a licorice whip or an idiot or whatever. Did that hurt your feelings? And when you do that, you'll feel yourself start to open like a flower because the audience sees that you opened that door and now you have to answer your own question. Did I hurt you? And then the next layer appears. It's like a scene in a movie. The next cut comes in.
Right.
And it's like, you're like, why the hell did I ask her if I offended her? But then she says something and then you respond to what she said. And now it's a new scene in the movie. And so if I can give you an exercise is don't run away from any of the truth that you're feeling on stage. Run into it.
God. And that's an analogy for life too.
It's scary,
Who needs
but
therapy?
it's
We just
thrilling.
need Harland.
It's thrilling.
Yeah.
I've had encounters with gang members. I've had encounters.
Really?
Because
like an offensive thing.
I had a run in with gang members where I was improvising with them and it was the club went silent. They were in the front row.
Do you remember what you said?
I remember I was going at it with them. And it became apparent that they were gang members. I think I asked them and everyone knew. Like it was right here in Hollywood at the Laugh Factory.
Right.
And the room went silent. Like the tenseness in the air. You could hear a pin drop on top of a pin. And it didn't just last for a second. It was hanging there for like minutes. And I was up there and they were just sitting there crossed. They were kind of surrounding the base of the stage and they had their arms crossed and, negative bad energy. And they were glaring at me. And I said to myself, I go, what do gang members understand? They understand territory and they understand respect. And so I said, I'm going to show these guys that this stage that I'm on is my territory, and I'm going to keep going till they respect that. And I just kept going and going, and it was so tense. And I couldn't, the thrill level of me was going up, up, up. I wasn't scared. I was elated. And I was at the point when I got home, I thought, if one of them pulled out a gun, I would have grabbed their hand and put the tip of the gun on my forehead and said into the mic, go ahead, bro. Shoot, this is my territory, because that's how confident I got in that moment. And I knew I had no choice. And finally, one of the gang guys was wearing a purple hoodie. And I said to him, what are you going to do, Barney? Remember Barney the dinosaur?
Oh my God, yes.
And he finally cracked a smile. He laughed. And then all his cronies started laughing and I was in.
Oh my God, that's
amazing. They gave me my territory. They gave me my respect. And after the show, I was like really worried about going, and they were all up. They're like, "Dude, you killed it. We loved it."
Wow!
Like, but the fear in that room, like it was just. But to me, it was electric.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Running into the truth.
Yeah.
Like, you have to own it up there because that's your island up there.
But yes, it is, and it's just like just like steering the boat in the middle of the ocean.
That's right.
That's your boat.
That's your boat.
And it's a life analogy too. And that, for me, just thinking about that on stage, I think I do shy away. Not only do I shy away on stage from the truth, sometimes because it may be awkward or uncomfortable for the audience, even though I think it's funny. But I also do that with people. And I'm afraid sometimes to go there. If I feel like I'm offending somebody, I'll back up immediately instead of going for the truth.
Just run into it.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah, run into it. Like it's almost like it's that famous painting of, you ever see the famous painting of the train coming down the track and there's a horse running right down the track towards the train?
I feel like I've seen that before.
It's a famous painting. I forget who did it, but it's very
symbolic,
like stark imagery when you see it, because you see this train in the distance coming towards you, and then you see the back of a horse running right down the track, and you know they're going to collide. And,
oh my God.
And so it's just, you run into the danger, you confront the danger.
Yeah, maybe I haven't seen that one. I was thinking of something like in a kid's room with like a horse in
No,
the
this
background.
is like a classic painting. We can look at it later on the internet.
Yeah.
But But when you're on stage, try it. I mean, and I don't want to sound like I just walked out on stage on my first night and did this. Okay, this took me many years
of course.
I ran into the fear early on, but I didn't necessarily know how to wrangle the bucking bronco. But now I can run into the fear and kind of wrangle it.
But you had that confidence all along, and I think that's where what I'm finding with stand up, and what I'm finding with stand up has helped me with my confidence level so much, because I've always stayed kind of small to stay safe, and now I'm like, fuck that, and I'm getting larger in my with myself. But that analogy of just doing that, and you calling them Barney, for the purple hoodie, and you're so great like that on stage. You called somebody Chewbacca one time. You were like, I remember seeing you, and I don't remember what it was, but there was something. But it was, oh God, what? There was somebody. I went and saw you one time, and there was somebody that just had surgery.
Oh wow!
Do you remember? And you were like, "What's wrong?" I don't remember. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, did they have cancer on their face? And I called her. Yeah, I just jumped and started calling her Cancer Face.
Yes, that's right.
And she was laughing her head off. And the reason I did it is because that was the truth. She had cancer on her face.
Yes.
And I knew that was a traumatic experience for her. And I assessed that she was probably at the comedy club to help lighten the psychological load.
Yeah.
And so I walked that line where I played with, as silly as it sounds, I played with the cancer that she had in a way where I could sense her and feel her, and she was dying laughing, and I think it was healing for her.
Well, and this is a. I don't know if I might have told you about this, but you kept calling Cancer Face back every once in a while throughout the entire night.
Oh yeah.
And I saw her later. We were all outside, and everybody was leaving, and she was with a couple of people that night. And I saw her, and I was like, and I said something, and I said, "Wow, that was a great show." And she said, I literally cried with laughter. She said, I needed that so badly.
And I could sense that.
And everybody that was with her had a good time too. And it was, I think one of them was her son or something. I can't remember what it was, but he was like, I made her come here tonight. This was the best night. He's so fucking amazing.
That makes me happy to hear.
It was this moment where they're like, can we please go laugh at this really awful thing that just happened to you? And you did it. And it was really
I learned
cool.
my first real teaching with that was, and you're going to have this moment, and I hope you look forward to it, and maybe talking about it will help you. Maybe I think you'll rewind the tape really fast the night it happens. But when I was still newish at it, I was doing a one-nighter, and I was talking to the crowd, and I started talking to this guy right in the front row, and I was blah, 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 how you doing, dude? And blah, blah, blah. And I started just kind of going at it with him a little bit. And all of a sudden I looked down and I saw you had a dog with him. And I go, what the hell are you doing with a dog here? And he goes, I'm blind. And I immediately moved away from him. I walked away and I went to someone else. And as I was talking to someone else, the tape was playing in my head. Why did you leave that guy? Just because he's blind? He's not worthy of, and in my head, all I heard is handicapped people always wanted to be treated just like everyone else. So I ended what I was doing and I went right back to the guy and I went, how long you been blind, dude? How'd you lose your eyesight? And he lit up. He was so happy.
That I literally have tears in my eyes right now.
Yeah. And I said to him, I was just honest. I said to him right there, I said, I left you. And I said, I came back because they always say that handicapped people just want to be treated like everyone else. Is that true? And he goes, yes. And I said, well, I'm back. And I talked with him for another 3-4 minutes. And it was just beautiful, but not only for him, for me, because I felt the truth wash over me. It was on me, and it was in that moment, and it was very beautiful, and it stayed with me. I've done millions of shows, but that's one of the moments that stays with me, and that's when I learned: go to the truth, stay in it. Don't reject people, no matter if they have cancer, if they're blind, if they're in a gang. Run into the truth. Now,
would you have said something to the blind man with his service dog? Would you have ever said anything to him like, how do you find his shit to pick it up?
Sure. But I would have, I think I said to him, what did I say to him?
Like, do you like go with jokes about it and go, so like, that's a terrible joke, but just, you know what I mean? Like, how do you find it?
It all depends on, you set the tone and you feel them out and you sense them out. And it's like Cancer Face. You come up with lines, but you have to decide in your head what's going to make them have fun and know that you're playing with them versus you're abusing them or mocking them or degrading them.
Right.
And so I've always been able to do that even in my real life, like, you know the sensitivity levels and feel them of people, you know? Right. But it's really fun. I mean, I had a situation actually just about 2 months ago. I was doing a show at the Comedy Store in Hollywood here on Sunset. And someone made a really dumb remark, you know, in the crowd. It's a sold-out house. And I just go, "Are you retarded, sir?" You know, like I asked a guy if he was retarded. And then about 30 seconds later, I went, wait a minute. Hold on. I just said the R word. I just said retarded. And I said, "Is there anyone in this crowd that's offended that I said retarded? I know we shouldn't be saying it anymore. Is there anyone here that's offended?" And some guy in the back put up and he goes, "Yes, sir, I'm offended." And I go, okay. And running into the truth, I said, "Why are you offended, sir?" And he goes, "Because my mother here, who I'm with, works with retards." And I said, "Sir, we don't say that word." You know what I mean? I just turned it around. And he went nuts. His mother went nuts. Like, it's just, but if you run into the truth, you find
amazing.
things, you know? Things blossom.
That was just like set up for you perfectly,
it was so
too.
fun, like, and the timing of it, and just the fact that he used the word back on me and his.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's. Now, I'm not saying every single time you go down, run into the truth, it's going to be like bliss, but it's a good. It's a good track to get onto, and I think you'll get a lot of fulfillment out of it. Yeah,
I think so too. I think it's fun. I think it's all about confidence, and I think it's all about confidence. And which, like I said before, I think that is the one thing that has kept me back in life and love and the career and stuff like that. Is that confidence, right? Or just running into the truth, maybe instead of internalizing the truth, you know, and not going back to it. Well,
maybe doing that on stage will help you.
It can't
open
not.
Up. Yeah.
I talked to so many people, like everybody that is acting or whatever. If they're like, "God, I'm really, I don't feel comfortable during auditions," or, you know, people are telling me stuff like that, and I'm like, "Can you please go try stand up?" Like, my auditions have never been more solid. I've never been more confident. I've never,
that's awesome.
like, on set, and it's all because I get to walk out there and do my thing out there, and it is very scary, but it's definitely been one of those things. I'm like, God. It's like, you know, when you get that great haircut and you're like, "Why didn't I cut my hair like this before?" Have you ever had that feeling? Yeah. That's what I feel about stand-up. I'm like, why didn't I do this before? Because I didn't have whatever it was. But now I was like,
it wasn't the time. Now's the time.
But it was like getting into that place of going, I threatened doing stand-up for a very long time. I constantly threatened it.
Welcome to the world of stand-up. I'm glad you're getting so much out of it.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
That's beautiful.
And I think the thing too, like even like with doing like my podcast and stuff like that, and like talking about all these books and all this stuff, and just being able to be more open with like my own journey, and oh God, I'm still doing that people pleasing thing, or you know, whatever it is, I don't know how to run into the truth yet. And then people out there listen to it and they go, "Yeah, me too," or, you know, or they're rooting me on from some other side. And I get these emails from people. And I know I'll get a ton of emails about you too, because you've been so inspiring and so amazing with the on this one. Like, the stories are amazing.
Thanks.
But it's like, people love to know that they're not alone, and that's kind of what comedy is too.
Yeah.
Just so you know, everybody out there, my dog Jack is molesting Harland right now.
See if you can hear some of his noises.
Yep.
There he is licking. Listen.
That just sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
Jack, come here.
Jack,
he's molesting
you're such a
him.
licker.
I know, he is.
You're a little licker.
I know.
You want some liquor? No, thanks. I'm already a licker.
Yeah.
What's your truth, Jack?
He's like, anything that has to do with chicken or steak.
Yeah, that's his truth.
That's all I care.
He's got
Chicken.
a little jelly belly.
Oh my God, doesn't he? He's ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
He's ridiculous. He's
Chick-fil-A.
beagles in general are like super, super needy.
Are they?
Yeah, they're really codependent and they're very needy.
I find a lot of dogs are, but
Well,
that's why they're dogs.
That's why they're dogs. Like you have to take care of them.
Yeah.
And I was talking, Jody Miller. Do you know
Jody
Jody Miller?
Miller?
She's a comedian. She's amazing. She's wonderful. I was talking to Jody Miller today, and I had to do a thing over at the Laugh Factory today, and Jody Miller was there.
Okay.
And we were talking about dogs and cats. And one of the things we talked about, she was like, I'll never have a dog because they're way too needy. And cats, like I come home after 6 hours and one eye is open. It's like, hey, it's you. And I'm like, I want to be like a cat.
Yeah.
I'm like a beagle. I want to be more like a cat.
I think you're a bit of both.
Really?
From where I sit, I think you are a bit of both.
Okay.
You have the kind of the stealth and the elusiveness and the sexiness of a cat.
Meow.
But you have the neediness of a dog, according to you. I don't know that I've
According to
experienced you being needy, but
Yeah.
you know you better than I know you. So
Yeah. I think I just like it. I like attention.
yeah.
I like attention. That's
Okay.
why I do
That's
comedy
okay.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want to be, I like attention. I like romance.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You like romance?
I like I used to want the fairy tale. That was my whole thing. Like I just want the fairy tale. I want to feel like, whatever. I think Disney really fucked me up as a child. I really do.
No, they didn't. Don't give up on that.
No.
That exists.
Somebody told me once when I said I want the fairy tale, people were like, you don't get to have the fairy tale after like 25, 30. You don't get to have it anymore.
Yes, you do.
You do, right?
Yep.
Harlan,
Get
thank
whatever you want.
Because I do want the fairy tale.
Good. Well, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to get it.
You're going to get it. If you will it, you
What
will
would
get
our fairy
it.
tale song be? What's a good fairy tale song?
Fairy
Tale is
tales
old.
do
Oh.
come true.
Oh.
They can happen to you if you're young at heart.
I was going to rhyme that happened to you with poo, actually.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I was...
Fairy tales are like poo. They can happen to you if you feel a fart. We just ruined a Frank Sinatra song.
No, I think we made it better.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good bathroom song. There's
It
not
is.
enough bathroom songs. There's drinking songs. There's lovemaking songs. We just cut a new genre,
Bathroom
taking
songs.
a dump, bathroom songs.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a bunch of different ideas. And then
Ooh.
you want to cut a record? Or a fart?
I think you need to cut a fart. It sounds like popcorn fart. It's dry as a popcorn fart here. You ever hear that saying?
I've heard them all. Yeah. That's
What's
like
one of yours? What's a good one? Like
Oh,
a fart
God.
saying.
a fart saying, let me think. I can't think of what one is. Hold on. Oh, I wish I could think of a fart saying right now.
Oh, you can't go to the internet.
I know. I was just looking.
No, bad.
I was just looking.
Krista,
fart
bad.
saying, I'm going to
Cat,
do it.
dog, woman, bad.
Fart saying. Hold on. We're going to wrap it up with a fart saying that I'm going to look up on the internet. Nothing.
It's wetter
You know what?
than a
It doesn't
witch's
matter.
fart.
Fart. Would you want a fart rhyme, a fart riddle? Who did it? Schoolyard fart tricks, fart games, fart sayings, things to say after farting, or types of farters.
A fart riddle. Give me a fart riddle. Who doesn't love a
Here's-
good riddle and a smelly?
Okay. What is motherless, fatherless, born without skin, spoke one word and never spoke again?
A fart.
Of course.
That was not the toughest riddle.
No.
When you ask for a something dot riddle, the answer shouldn't be the dot part. Like if I say, give me a horse riddle, the answer to the riddle shouldn't be horse.
I have one.
You have a fart?
Do farts
Oh.
no. Do farts have lumps?
Fart.
No? Then I just shit my pants.
Oh, God. That's good. Okay.
That's a good one.
And you're wearing shorts, by the way, so you might want
I just shit my shorts.
to get some handy wipes on the way home.
I'm gonna
kid.
go grab some.
Or your dog's kind of furry. You want to? No.
I'll use him.
No.
That would be mean.
Yeah, we don't abuse animals with your farts.
that would be a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Harlan. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I adore you. Thank you for
Adore
doing
you.
my
Thank
podcast.
you. I'm honored to be your guest, and thank you so much.
Okay.
Run into the truth.
Running into the truth. Run into the truth. Don't go anywhere because I'm sitting with somebody that I want you guys to know about. His name is Jake Lloyd, and he has a really cool podcast.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, you want to tell everybody about it?
I would love to tell everybody about it. The name of the show is Elaborate, and it is not therapy, but it's not therapy. I sit down every... Wow, that was so smarmy the way I said that. I just gave myself douche chills.
No, I liked it. It was
In any
good.
case, it's a really fun show where I sit down with creative types, some people I know really well, some people I don't know that well at all, and I just sort of dive into their lives. I learn about them. I learn about why they are, where they come from, and what is wrong with them.
Yeah, you do, because I did your podcast.
You did do a fantastic episode of it.
Thank you. I had so much fun, and we talked about so many deep things.
We did, and I really appreciated how transparent you were, because that's sort of the name of the game with my show. Transparency is key.
Like, you know how to get in there. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do, Jake. You get in there.
Well, I'm going to leave it at that. Please check it out at elaboratepod.com. On iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever podcasts are found, you will find Elaborate.
Awesome. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for
Talking
having
about
me.
This. All right. See ya.
Bye.
It's Dragon Wagon.